And I said that because that's what our problems feels like. We don't have actually a fiery furnace in front of us, but the thing that has been keeping us, that thing that has been holding you, the thing that's been keeping your mind, because the enemy attacks that mind because he knows if you find power in the mind that he cannot get to you. He knows if you find the strength in your mind to believe God without a shadow of a doubt, he can't win. So in the same process, right? Daniel's out of the scene right now. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they remained loyal to God. They told him, said, in verse 18, he said, now let's go to 16. He said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied, "Oh, Nebuchadnezzar, we don't need to defend ourselves before you." That's what you tell your problems. You say, if we are thrown into the blazing fire, the God who we serve is able to save us. He will rescue us from the power of your majesty. But even if he doesn't, we want you to know, this is what you tell the adversary, we want you to know, we want to make it clear, your majesty, that we will never serve your gods and worship the golden statue you have set up. That's how we stand in the midst of adversity. You get to begin to tell that thing. You look that enemy straight in his face and you say, I will not bow to this situation. I know I came from a mighty long ways. I know that I used to do this thing. You used to have the power over me. But now in the season, I'm coming out of this thing. So I'm finna tell you in your face, I will never bow down. You can take my house. You can take my car. But I'm not bowing down to the God of this earth. Because I serve a God that got more than one house, more than one car, more than one health, even in your body. Today, if you got sickness in your body, I'm telling you, there's a God that can sew up the seams of our health. He can cause things to look like it ain't working out. I don't care what it is. I don't care how much the doctors give you a report. I'm telling you that God said, if you will just trust in him, give it to him, he's going to make a way out of no way. There's no way that he will not make a way from you. We cannot panic. We cannot panic in the middle of adversity and make decisions that's contrary to what God said. We have to hang on to what God has told us. We have to know without a shadow of a doubt that the same God that delivered me from adultery, the same God that delivered me from rape, the same God that delivered me from drugs, the same God that delivered me from abuse, is the same God today that says, son, lo, I am with you always, even until the ends of the earth. And there's nothing by any means will be able to pull you out of my hands. I have you. Hold on. Hold on. Even when we feel like we are ordered by this world, that we have to deny what we believe contrary to what God says, we must remain faithful like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. This is going to give me a little bit of trouble. I said that this morning. Even when they tell us that we have to accustom ourselves to the LBG community, I'm tell you today, that is not of God. I don't know who is that the enemy has painted this picture for you to make you think that this is way of life. This is not the way of life. That's the enemy taking control of your mind. Because if you don't control your mind, the enemy will control it for you. Don't allow your emotions to become a part of your disaster, because you can make it through this thing. It is nothing that God has not inbred into you. He gave it to you from the beginning of birth. He said, before I even knew you, Micheal, he said, I was with you. I had a plan for your life. I plan to prosper you. I plan to give you a hope and a future, not to harm you. That is not of God. If you feel like you've been being harmed, that ain't God that's harming you. That's the enemy. That's God allowing the enemy to cause you to rise up. I told them this morning, like Sister Rosa said, I said, when your enemy come, he don't come to take nothing from you. He come to add to you. He makes you stronger. Every adversity that you go through comes to make you stronger. As long as you don't fall down by the wayside. We talked about it a little bit this morning, about a foundation a little bit. I added a little to a foundation. And I asked them, I said, people of God, have you ever seen a house that's burned down, but the only thing that remained was the foundation? The house is burning. It's gone. But when you have your foundation built up on the foundation that God has laid out, everything around you can seem like it's falling apart. Everything around you can burn up. But as long as your foundation is built on a solid rock, and that's the rock is Jesus Christ. He is the rock, because they say in the word, he is the rock. So if you build your foundation on the word of God, I can tell you right now, the whole world can fall around you, but as long as your faith is in God, you will not fall.